भगवान श्री योगी रामसुरत्कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी रामसुरत्कुमारार्पणमस्तु। We can never sufficiently ever thank Bhagwan for every opportunity that he has been giving us to sing his name in his powerful shrine. We have been seeing for the past 1.5 years nearly, every day, the glory of his name. How it has been rescuing people, how it's been helping, guiding and protecting people. And so intelligently at that, in the most odd circumstances. Because there is no difference between the name and the named. Now, someone who lives outside India, by name Ratna Singh Vasant Kumar, he wrote to me a day or two before. He has been listening to the satsangs regularly, and is very impressed by the glory of Bhagwan that he had taken to singing his name. He says in his letter, this December 1st, 2020, after listening to the satsangs, he felt that he had to celebrate the December Jayanti of Bhagwan. He also understood the glory of the name, so the whole of previous day, chanting the name, he plucked flowers from his garden and kept them in the fridge for the night. The next day morning, he arranged for the puja. So he took the flowers out in order to string them. And to his great horror, he found 2 moths. They look like butterflies, but they come only in the evening and the night. They are attracted by the lights. 2 moths had somehow found their way into the flowers, and they had also gone inside the fridge. So the next day morning, when he took them out, they were frozen, naturally. And he too was frozen when he saw the condition of these 2. Now we can imagine how horrid it was for him on a day when he wanted to celebrate with great happiness, so joyfully. And the first thing that happened was this. It was so terrible that he became the cause for the deaths of 2 moths. And on an auspicious day, like Jayanti of Bhagwan, what went wrong? How could this happen? He had plucked flowers so many times before and kept them in the fridge, and it never happened before. But this day when he had planned elaborately to celebrate, and the very first thing that happened was this. He was very, very upset. He started to cry. And then suddenly it struck him. Hasn't he heard so many times in the satsangs how the Nama comes to the rescue? How powerful the Nama is. How all-knowing, all-pervasive, all-powerful the Nama is. So with great faith, he started to chant. Even while stringing the flowers, he was chanting and chanting and chanting for the sake of those 2 moths. Somehow he felt very sure that they would come alive. It took some time, but then suddenly he saw a small movement in one of the moths. He felt overwhelmed that it was coming alive. And then he, more and more enthusiastically, with more and more feeling, with great pure love, he was singing and singing, chanting the name. And soon the first moth, it fluttered and flew away. Just imagine, put yourself in that moment. His joy knew no bounds, and now he was more sure that it could work with the second moth. Also, he concentrated, he kept chanting and chanting and chanting with intense prayer, soulful prayer. And soon there was a movement, the second moth, and soon it fluttered, and like very much the first one, it then flew away. He felt that he had already celebrated the birthday of Bhagwan. What could be more joyful than this? What an occasion for celebration. So he wrote to say, "Ma, I want to share my happiness, my joy, my boundless joy." It happened just a few months back. It's all because I picked up faith from the satsangs that I was sure by chanting the name, I could bring it alive. I was stunned when I heard it. They must have been frozen. Probably there was still some life force. In any case, Nama did the rest. He would never be able to forget the Jayanti day of Bhagwan. We hear the great masters doing that. He says, I'm an ordinary devotee, and my chanting the name brought life back to the 2 moths. It's a greater celebration than the Jayanti. And then he said, one night his daughter suddenly developed stomach pain. It became intolerable. and nobody knew what to do in the middle of the night. And again, he said, the satsang came to my help. He remembered how I spoke about the glory of the vibhuti, the bhasma, the ashes. So immediately got up, took some water and mixed it with vibhuti, and with prayer and nama chanting gave it to her. And he says, with great wonder and joy, it worked. Soon his daughter felt better, and then the pain disappeared altogether, miraculously. These details might sound ordinary to somebody, but it reassures people the power of vibhuti, the power of the name. It strengthens the faith of people further. So these leelas may sound ordinary, but they have the great power to strengthen our devotion and faith. They serve the purpose, the great purpose of faith. On the one hand, someone writes that she has been writing 1 lakh namas and still nothing happened. She is grief-stricken. On the other hand, you see this picture, 2 moths frozen to lifeless stillness, and the nama chanting revives them. Now how could we explain this difference? Always remember the faith, the depth of faith that you have, the depth of devotion. That matters in these things. And if there is a particular karma by which your fate is different and you are struggling against it, then you have to keep on trying and trying and trying until it happens. There is no fixed number or anything. There are factors like faith, devotion, quantity, and above all, quality. So where there is lack of quality, we have to make up with quantity. So don't get upset. We must go on writing and praying and writing and praying and chanting until in some nama the whole thing would happen, just like that. You would be surprised how we had come across situations where everything changed so dramatically, but it took its time. So one thing that we have to remember is patience. If the karma is very strong and the karmic effect that takes time to overcome that. And even then, Bhagwan might remove it altogether or reduce the rigor. Whatever happens, no single nama goes waste. No chanting, no writing can ever go waste. It may take a little more time, So let us continue with hope and faith and devotion. And of course, concentration. The rest will be surely done by Bhagwan. It's only a matter of time. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.
Yogi Ramsuratkumar